Starting it up. We've started a live broadcast on Google Hangouts.
Oh, we started it.
Welcome.
Was that official?
Wild Card Weekend, Full Duel Podcast, the weekend of January 9th and 10th. I am James Gale. You can find me on Twitter at GoJPG.
And I am Ivan Lovegren. You can find me on Twitter at Watch the Breaks. And I'm holding on for dear life with anticipation for this weekend.
It should be
exciting.
Fun. Yeah, I'm excited too.
Hot takes, cold takes, record-setting cold takes.
Cold lakes, cold Land Lakes.
Very
Minnesota.
Very cold.
Lake Calhoun,
Lakers.
Frozen over. Lake Minnetonka, frozen over. Lake White Bear Lake, frozen over. And the Brainerd Lakes, frozen over. Those are the lakes I know.
Lake Michigan,
Minnesota.
Frozen over.
Does not touch Minnesota. Lake Superior.
Oh, Lake Superior. Well, don't trust me on that either. I'd hate for somebody to go step out on Lake Superior because they think it's frozen. Because
it does freeze over. When I was a kid, we would go up there and people ice fish. And I don't know how far out it freezes, but it would freeze close to inland. And we would walk on the ice out to these cool ice caves that were really cool. And so, yep, that's my frozen Lake Superior story. Let's just get right into these games. We don't want to be long this week. We're going to be short.
Sounds good.
This is going to be our shortest podcast since we only have 4 games to talk about.
Yeah, it's great. How much fun? Oh, well, yeah, James actually wants to just jump right into it because last week's FanDuel score was 120-80.
Oh, yeah.
Guess who won?
Ugh. I'll go back and look at it now, but yeah. Did I do well in FanDuel last week? Probably not. In any of mine.
I won.
Let's see, 104.
But I did really crappy.
I beat my cousin. I beat my cousin 104-93, so that was good. Although he's been getting me in basketball.
In fact, in our 20-player DraftKings league, the number 1 and 2 last week were number 20 and 19 this week. So game of skill, people.
Yeah. Let's see. So last week, Charkandrick, D'Angelo killed me. Brandon Cooks, bad game. Odell Beckham, he was the one. A lot of people had him last week to go wild against Philly, and it just did not happen. Zach Ertz was a good play. I'm just looking at my game against you.
I had Bradford, so.
Yeah, we both did, but you went Devontae. Sammy Watkins was a great play against those Jets. Decker and that Colts D. I thought the Colts D would be lesser owned, and then they were heavily owned in the Fantasy Pros game. But it's just how it is. Do you have anything to say? Any advice?
No, not really. I just wanted to point that out before we jump in. Something funny that we'll encounter this week and that I saw in the articles I was reading from real experts, not
people
fools.
That are paid. Yeah.
Yeah, people that are paid and buy click advertisements. Everybody like Matthew Berry, especially. Let's call out the incredible talent. Mr. Talented Rotisserie Roading.
He used to be. I'm going to say Matthew Berry used to be great when he covered baseball. But once he stopped covering baseball, he stopped covering baseball, I kind of tuned out of him. Yeah. I hear it though. Like if I were him, I'd have done the same thing. You do just football, whatever. He gets paid a lot. Good for him. I'm happy for him. Yeah. But anyway, continue. So, what did he say? I didn't even read his article.
My point was his entire article was based on value.
Yeah.
And when you've got a 4-game slate, I'm not looking at value. I was amazed. I had one decision to make, and that decision was because of $100 in cap space. Mm-hmm. That's what it came down to, with what I feel is some really packed rosters.
Oh, yeah.
So we I don't really think we're looking at a lot of value this week. And the other thing is ownership percentages. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
If you like a guy, you got to play him. There's 4 options at running back. Well, unfortunately, 7 options because of the way these teams operate. But
I will say that in a lower slate or a lesser slate that doesn't have as many games, when it comes to value, I try to look at the lower end to see if there's anybody I like. Because I want to get as many high-priced, good options that I like that could be highly owned or whatever. So. Especially in NBA, like NBA last night NBA, I was really looking for a couple lower price so I could just slot in my big guys. And then D'Angelo Russell goes off, and let's not talk about last night in the NBA because I did not place. We'll go straight to
AFC action.
Yeah, Chiefs at Texans. Chiefs are favored by 3.5. I see 3 some places. It just kind of depends on where you're getting your action. Over under of 40 points. What is that? Second lowest of the weekend. The Chiefs are on a roll, winning their last all the games, 11 or 12 games.
Yeah, they've been pretty good.
They've been pretty good. They've been giving up points here and there, but
I find it funny how many people are high on the Texans in this game. I'm not at all.
sure.
I'm out on them. I'm out on Brian Hoyer. I saw one article that at the same time that it crapped on Brian Hoyer based on his performance against the Chiefs, then extolled DeAndre Hopkins for his performance in that same game against the Chiefs. It's like, how can they go hand in hand? They go hand in hand.
Sure, that makes sense.
And I might be biased because on Twitter I found even when they're winning, all I see is Texans fans posting how stupid the team is. Like, I can't believe you did that. We're up 30-6 and you still did that. So I just feel like this Chiefs team is buckled in, buckled down, and I don't like any Texans this week. Except, actually, there is one. But do you like any? Are you going to argue me with Hopkins because you can't not? Because he is Hopkins?
Yeah, I'll say if you want to roll out Hopkins, I mean, we'll get to the other AFC game, but you're looking at DraftKings. You got Antonio Brown at 96. Right below him is Hopkins at 84. And if you like some of those, we'll have Antonio Brown in a tier of his own. So if you like any of those second tier wide receivers and want to go with 3 of them, that includes Hopkins. I don't think that's crazy, but I mean, I'm not rushing to toss Hopkins into a lineup. I think he's a part of a good contrarian lineup because he'll be the least owned, in my opinion, of those top 3 choices: Brown, Hopkins, and AJ Green. After that, it drops off, and that's on DraftKings. But on FanDuel, I believe they're similarly priced. Yeah, you got Brown at 95. Brown at 95, and then you got Hopkins at 88, Green at 83. So
I feel like more people are still going to ride Hopkins, and I like Green better, which we'll get to in our next game.
Sure.
But I don't know. But I did decide, just out of deference to the team that I just pooped on, I am going to play Houston's kicker in FanDuel.
Nick Novak.
Is that his name? I thought it was Hopkins.
Nick Novak. He's been on other teams. Wasn't he on the Jets or the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Are you sure he's their starting kicker? He's not their backup?
He's the only one available here.
I just don't want to plug in a kicker that's not playing, James, just because of your advice.
It happens. Yeah. He's the only one on FanDuel you can choose. On the other side of the ball for the Chiefs, boy, I mean, Jeremy Maclin is their number 1 receiver. He gets the targets. He was hurt this week, but I believe they expect him to play. Probable for Saturday's game is what he's.
Now he is going up against Jonathan Joseph, 7th ranked cornerback in the league. Mm-hmm. He was 5 receptions for 52 yards last time they met in week 1. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like Alex Smith wasn't as dialed in there. I'm just being contrarian because I'm actually starting him in both of our matchups.
Maclin?
Yeah.
Oh, but sure. Yeah.
There's a lot of negative to take into consideration too with Maclin.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't had more than 60 yards in the last 4 games.
Touchdowns in each.
He's been getting touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he's been fooling people into being a little high on him. That said, I'm super high on him because he only has 1 drop all season in 120 targets.
Yeah. I like him because they try to get him involved, and when the Chiefs are playing well, and that's not necessarily the case looking at the last 10 games, which they've won all of them. Mm-hmm. But I just think that when they get him involved, they have a better chance to win. And so I like Maclin. Kelsey, sure. I mean, he's boom or bust. Like, he could just go off, but I don't want to. Are you even playing cash games this week? I feel like I just want to play tournaments.
Yeah. I'm probably only going to play like 2 of them, though.
Exactly. No, that's how I am. I have tournaments, like 1 or 2 on both, I mean, including ours.
Yeah.
So I'm not rushing to throw Kelsey in, but I get it.
Yeah.
If you want to do it.
If you're talking that, I'd be more inclined to Spencer Ware.
Sure. Okay.
Because he's cheaper.
Yeah. I think people will be off Charkandrick just because he burned you last week. That was my first thing when I looked at Charkandrick. I was like, nope, he burned me last week. But hey, he can get carries. Yeah, exactly. Him and Ware. They're both worth a look. What happened?
Nothing.
Something fell. I missed it. I wasn't.
Yeah. No, it was off camera. It was literally behind the camera. Yeah, well, that's why I say maybe Ware is worth a look, because if they are up, I mean, it seemed like they were resting Charkandrick pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too.
On the line.
Yeah.
But if they find themselves up like I expect against this Texans team, likely to throw Ware in. And if you're looking for that one guy that I feel like even if people are off West, they're not going to be on Ware. If they're off West, they're going to be looking at another top running back somewhere. Yeah,
or another cheaper guy. Yeah. I mean, we got Ware here at 5,400, and there's some options around.
Yeah, 4,000 in DraftKings.
Yeah. So definitely, I agree with what you're saying. Are you using Alex Smith?
I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. I have one quarterback in both. So. Yeah,
I feel the same way. There's two I like. I'm gonna go for the high point totals with my quarterback, so I'm gonna target those two games. But again, that said, Alex Smith he's not the cheapest. We can go down as far for starters on FanDuel. AJ McCarron 64, Alex Smith 71. I'll pay up for Alex Smith in that situation. He's probably the cheapest quarterback I'm most confident playing.
Alex. Yeah, I was say on DraftKings 5,300. I mean, for a guy that is kind of guaranteed. No, McCarron's 52, but for a guy that's kind of guaranteed to be solid.
Yeah, exactly.
Ideally, no turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad play for maybe a twist on ownership percentages as well.
Yeah,
because you got to think people are going to be throwing in Rodgers, Roethlisberger, Cousins.
Yep.
So
that's what I'm doing. And we'll get to that. Right. Either of the defenses excite you? Are you going to play a Chiefs?
Yeah, I'm playing the Chiefs defense. That's all there is to know about that. I'm playing them.
They're 5,100, tied with the Seahawks on FanDuel. Again,
4,000.
If you had to choose one of them, I think most of the population is going to choose Seattle over Kansas City in that situation. What are they on draft? DK.
4,000 and the Seahawks are 4,100.
Sure,
so there's a slight difference.
Exactly. I think that's a good play if you're playing ownership percentages. You can go with those Chiefs. Texans, no. It's fun to root for JJ Watt, but I mean,
he's not going to score you points in your fantasy team.
No. Well, when he gets a sack, he does, but not many. I don't know.
Yeah, that's as much as a running back getting one reception out of the backfield for 5 yards.
I like JJ Watt. I think he's great. He's from Wisconsin.
I'd pick Alfred Blue over JJ Watt in that scenario.
Done. We'll try to get that drawn up.
All right.
Special game. Let's just move on to that night game. They're playing at night.
Oh, it is at night. I didn't realize that.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh crap! I'm not gonna get to watch that game. I'm going to play.
Oh,
culture.
Yeah. What is it? Is it Mammoth?
Yeah. No, actually, it's a short play festival. So there's 10 different plays for the price of one. Why see one play when you can see 10? Can you tell that I do marketing for that company too? So yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers at Cincinnati.
That was
Bengals.
the tagline you used. Why see one when you can see 10? Is that how you advertised?
Yeah, of course.
10 plays.
Yeah,
plays. Honest to God, plays.
Yeah, real life plays.
Or Homer. If you got that from The Simpsons. Anyway, Steelers Bengals. Steelers are favored by 3 points against AJ McCarron and the Cincinnati Bengals, who seem to lose their first round playoff game every year. So
with Andy Dalton.
Carson
Palmer.
Yes. And now we have
AJ
pride
McCarron.
of Alabama. Does the national champion? Oh no, that's on Monday, right? So
that won't have any bearing on it.
No. Pride of Alabama, AJ McCarron. Do you believe in him? I don't.
I do.
You do? Okay.
I do.
You're gonna play him?
I'm gonna believe in him. I'm gonna play 2 of his wide receivers.
Okay.
Actually, playing one. Oh God, I'm so torn on. That's one of the ones I'm debating right now. So Marvin Jones has 18 receptions in the past 3 weeks.
Okay. I like
but
it.
Marcus Wheaton is he's my underdog play. I love Marcus Wheaton.
Me too. I got him in lineups. We'll get to those Steelers.
I don't know. But I really like AJ Green.
You like AJ Green? I like Eifert against that Pittsburgh defense that I guess I don't have to quote the numbers, but I just want to. I know that the Pittsburgh defense wasn't that great against tight ends.
Yeah.
And they gave up 87 receptions, 914 yards, and 8 touchdowns to opposing tight ends. So my big play out of that Cincinnati passing game is going to be Eifert. I like him. He's $1,000 cheaper than Jordan Reed on FanDuel. If you go and look at DraftKings, he costs you $1,300 less than Jordan Reed, the highest priced tight end.
Yeah.
So I like Tyler Eifert. He gets looks from AJ McCarron. Last week he had 4 for 51 and a TD, 2 for 42. Week before, St. Louis, 3 for 40 TD. I like Tyler Eifert, and I don't mind AJ Green. I just like Antonio Brown a lot, and then I stay off of that top tier or that second tier if I'm choosing Brown this week. That's my strategy. So, yeah, Eifert, load him up. You like AJ Green? Do you like any of the running backs?
This is making room money-wise a little bit for some of my players, but Jeremy Hill, if my internet would scroll, that's a word from the 2000 BCs. Jeremy Hill surprisingly has 54 carries over the last 3 weeks, which is more than any other running back this weekend. So you would never expect that with his whole, is it Gio, is it Jeremy scenario there, but he might be a really strong play this week.
I agree. You want to keep him off, you want to keep Roethlisberger off the field, right? And that passing game. So
yeah.
Pound
Steelers
the ground.
do have a good running game, run defense though too. So
that's true. Exactly. That's what's kept me away from really targeting Hill. I have him in one of my lineups. I don't have him in all of my lineups, but I do like, especially if they get down to the goal line. I think they're really going to feature him hard. He'll get a lot of goal line work, and I like the projected carries for him. That's why I like Jeremy Hill. Gio, I don't have Gio in any lineups. I don't mind the play. I read an article this morning that said he's a nice little contrarian play, especially if they were to bust out 1 or 2 big plays. That's one of the guys that could do it besides AJ Green. So yeah, I like it. If we move on to Pittsburgh, I mean, what's not to like? Roethlis, I've got him in lineups.
Yeah,
Antonio Brown, the way he's been playing, hard to not look at him.
Very true.
He's definitely worth. He is, and did I say this before? He is in all of my lineups, but I will be changing one just to be a little bit contrarian.
Just changing one
in one of my big tournaments, but like in the Fantasy Pros tournament, which is usually 70 people or less, I'll have him in my lineup. In our Fool Duel, I'll give away 1 pick for our Fool Duel tourney. Antonio Brown is in my lineup at $9,600 at 95
and 96% ownership.
I don't exactly. It's one of those I don't care. I don't know. Yeah. He's really good. He's very
if he
very
produces, good. You want him in there. You want him. You don't want him not in there.
Yeah, he's probably the safest choice to finish with the most points at his position. Of all the positions, I guess you could argue Jordan Reed, but right? That'd be my choice to finish.
Jordan Reed has to be the safest choice.
Yeah, at the position.
Just to be slightly contrarian, because I mean, he's one of 4 receivers to lead his team, and he's the only one of those 4 receivers to be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. So yeah.
Definitely.
You like Marcus Wheaton? Tell me.
Well, I mean, I like Marcus Wheaton and I like Martavis Bryant. I think they're both fantastic stud wide receivers that are. How do you get the credit with all that's going on there? So I think that they're both good plays. I think Roethlisberger's a good play. I think Heath Miller could be a good play. That said, the only one that I'm going with across the board from this game is actually complete Fool Duel bias. Fitzgerald Toussaint.
Okay, so you're on that running back.
Because I want to play Fitz this week, and he's got a bye.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, I'll play the other Fitzgerald.
Sure.
And
Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
what if they had it? Right?
Well, first
it'd be crazy, man. If they had a boy and a David Fitzgerald Jr. Yeah, exactly.
Which would be ironic because Larry Fitzgerald is a junior already.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're from the Twin Cities. Twin Cities. Larry Fitzgerald. Hooray. So yeah, Fitzgerald.
It gets cold up there, guys. They don't have a lot to cheer for. So
I know they cheer for their own.
Yeah. So I like that. I mean, I don't dislike any of the wide receiver picks there, but I don't know. I'm just this is a little bit of a tough. There's too many good wide receivers and not enough good running backs this week. I'm sure you've heard that everywhere.
Oh yeah,
that is the case.
The common strategy is to go one big, one small on running back, and I have employed that strategy in a couple lineups. But yeah, I like the points in this game. 46 is the over/under. Let's score some points, guys. I mean, if you guessed, is this the lot of action coming in on both sides? Let me just look at what people on Fantasy Pros are saying.
Yeah, it's
mostly Steelers. Yeah, mostly Steelers, and that's who I picked on my picks. So.
But think about it. There's also an old standing wisdom, which is in a playoff game that's a pick 'em, take the home team.
Okay.
And because of the way that they played each other this season, and because of the way the standings came out, the Bengals are actually at home, even though they're underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
So just think about that for a second. I think that there's a much bigger divide between the Chiefs and the Texans, where we see that underdog at home, and the Vikings Seahawks.
Yeah,
where we see the underdog at home. I don't think there's quite as big of a divide here. So,
okay,
I don't know. Little nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Don't listen to me because I suck at gambling. So
parlay
Sunday,
all the underdogs.
Parlay all the underdogs. Seattle Seahawks.
At my Minnesota Vikings, they are favored by 5 points.
You said parlay all the underdogs, and I just automatically started pressing buttons.
Just
do that to me.
Get those bets in. 5.5 here on Sportsbook AG. I've seen 5. I had to pick when I on the Fantasy Pros correspondence. They want you to pick Seahawks -5. So yeah, we'll just go with 5. Although I like 5.5. Picking the Vikings at 5.5 even more. So
yeah, I'm picking the Vikings to win this game.
To win outright. I love it. I'm if I gun to my head, I'm going to pick the Seahawks, but I like the Vikings. I want them to win, and I will not. Go Vikes. But
yeah, I mean it's supposed to be
negative
47 degrees
wind chill.
Yeah. And you were tell me about the stadium that they play in.
So they play in TCF Bank Stadium, which is the home of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and it's on the University of Minnesota campus. It's an open-air stadium built to handle college football games that end before Thanksgiving, correct? So middle of November. And so it is outdoors, and outdoors in January in Minnesota is very cold.
Wash.
Projected temperature at noon on Sunday, noon central when the game starts, is 0 degrees. And so the way the stadium is set up is that one sideline is going to be in the sun and one sideline is in the shadows, which is in the cold. And sometimes the temperature differential between the sunny side and the shaded side can be 20 degrees. So let's say it's 0 degrees. It'll be 0 degrees, but it'll feel colder because obviously if there's the sun there. So I don't see that as much of a disadvantage, really. I know.
Is there weather though?
I couldn't tell you. Right here on DraftKings, there are no little icons.
No gods of the storm blowing.
I'd keep an eye on it up till game time.
Well, I'm still scared. I don't think they're used to this kind of weather. And
No,
I
sure,
think
I agree with you
they'll
there,
come out,
but they've done
they'll
it.
come out pounding with Marshawn Lynch.
And see, I really like Marshawn Lynch this week. I have
really
him
like
in
him too.
pretty much all my lineups. He's just a touch cheaper than Peterson on FanDuel. DraftKings, he's $800 cheaper. And they're going to give him the ball. They're going to feed him. And we've seen what Marshawn can do in the playoffs before. I mean, probably his greatest run on tape, one of them happened in the playoffs. Granted, that was at home against the Saints.
Yeah.
But it could happen here. The Vikings' run defense isn't that great. So that's who I'm targeting. I also like Tyler Lockett at 4,400 on DraftKings. He'll probably be facing Terrence Newman, who is bad and will not be playing with the Vikings next year. He makes like 2 good plays a game, and that saves him. And then he makes 9, 10 bad plays a game.
I love when fans talk in depth about their teams.
You got to target Terrence Newman. Come on, everybody knows that. Chris Collinsworth last week was making fun of Terrence Newman.
I love Chris Collinsworth, by the way. I don't understand people that hate him and are annoyed
I like
by
him too. Him and Michaels is the best team. Him and Michaels quirks. Yeah.
But speaking of Marshawn Lynch, now here's a guy. He always says that. Now here's a guy. And did I say that last week on this too?
Probably. But he says it a lot too, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Here's a guy who, when the firefight came in, threw off his pants, jumped over the enemy lines, took a football with him, and taught the Arabs how to play football. One of my favorite stories he ever told.
What was that? I've never heard that story. What is the deal with that?
I don't know. It's a Collinsworth thing that he did.
I see.
So yeah, so I like Lynch. I don't actually like a lot of the other guys. I mean, you can't hate Baldwin, you can't hate Russell Wilson. Both had stellar careers, but honestly, or years. But I really think that cold hands, man. When you're not used to it, cold hands. Mm-hmm. It's tough to throw a football with cold hands.
Well, we know Teddy. He wears those gloves.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the total lowest point total of the weekend at 39.5? So I don't want a lot of my lineup to be featuring players from this game. Now, again, you could build a lineup that consists of all the players that score the points from this game. I just don't see that it doesn't seem like there will be that many.
Yeah. I'm actually off of Adrian Peterson too, just because of the back issue. I feel like that's a lot more serious than say Lynch is. Lynch is practicing at full speed. In fact, Carroll said that he wants him to do drills at full speed. Like, I don't know. There's something about the way I was raised and that I always think that is better. And I think too many players don't do that. And that's part of why they do get knocked out of games. So I'm high on Lynch and I'm down on Peterson for the exact same reason. Like, sitting out practice all week, it's a back thing. So all it takes is one hit for it to happen again. I don't know. 60, 70 yards.
Yeah. I just think that Seattle plays really good defense.
Makes it happen.
They're gonna focus on stopping Adrian Peterson, and when Teddy can make some plays, and hopefully he can make enough to keep it close to keep him within 5 points. But I'm not in on Peterson this week. Although I mean, he's part of your contrarian lineup with his upside and projected carries. Yeah,
I just don't know that he is contrarian. I think a lot of people are still going to be playing him.
You think so?
See like 60 to 70% at least.
Really? I think Lynch will be higher, especially if he's starting.
I mean, you're talking analysts versus people that look and say, "Oh, he's the best. He's 7,300. I'll plug him in and then find somebody that'll get me some prize money."
Sure.
So, but that's my take on this game.
Do you like any of the defenses? Do you have a Seattle defense or even the Vikings?
Actually, the contrarian play here for me is the Vikings defense, because I think that's how they win, is if their defense can force just a few mistakes.
One defensive score, maybe a Cordero returns one.
Yeah, exactly. God, how great was that return that he fumbled? That was the most Cordero play ever.
I saw it.
But they still eked out a win.
That ices the game if he goes down there and they are able to kick a field goal at the least.
Yeah,
whatever.
Cordero.
I like.
He got his $250,000 from Goodell for that.
$45K on DraftKings for the Vikings defense, 51 for the Seahawks. Or excuse me, that's on FanDuel. Vikings are $3,000. Seahawks are 41 on DraftKings. So I'm not. I mean, since I'm a fan, I'm staying away. I don't want to root for the Seattle defense, and I don't want to get burned by the Vikes in case I don't know. I do like I like your call on the Vikings, choosing them at a cheaper price. And we will move on. Do we?
Oh man, the weekend's almost done.
Do we want to cover the Vikings passing game? Are you touching Ted?
Oh, I thought we were just moving on because there's
those were my plays too. Exactly. I'm rooting for Teddy. I'm not playing him. Although, hey, if you like what we said about the gloves, there's a reason to pick him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're moving on. Final game of the weekend. The Washington professional football team is hosting the Green Bay Packers
at home. Even line, pretty much.
It's pretty much an even line. We got on our little thing we use. It's Washington -1. I had to pick Packers -1. So it's crazy. Let's hear your take. Do you have a hot take?
I have. They're all hot takes in this game. This
Hottest
is the warmest game. It's even warmer than that indoor game in Texas. I don't care what you say.
Wonderful.
See, the helicopters are circling. It's so warm.
Oh my!
Can you guys hear that? Is that coming through?
How good is
this microphone?
I hear it. Oh my!
Green Bay Packers stink. Washington is surprisingly fantastic, and they play even better at home. Take this one by 20 points. Take it to the bank. Washington's defense has surprisingly, I think they had the most sacks in the last 3 or 4 games.
They've got a great pass rush. Great pass rush. What's his name? The guy in the end, Carricker?
Kerrigan. Ryan Kerrigan. Adam Carricker.
Yeah.
Adam Carricker or Ryan Kerrigan?
Adam Carricker is retired, and he played for the now we got to look it up, but keep talking.
So again, my computer over-scrolled, and now it's frozen, so I can't actually show you, but I know that it's like the last 3 or 4 weeks they've had the most sacks, and Green Bay's actually given up the most sacks. I think that Kirk Cousins is playing with a huge chip on his shoulder. I think that Deshaun Jackson is one of those when he plays for something, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He needs that, and he's like actually motivated right now to play good for his team. Jordan Reed is just total beast. We all know that. I think that this game is not close. I think it's Redskins. I'm not starting a single Packer.
I am going to echo everything. The Packers have that O-line is in trouble.
I'm the Packers.
They're just Aaron Rodgers is either gonna hit a perfect pass or it's gonna be overthrown or they're just so inconsistent.
Yeah.
And then on the road against Washington, those fans hopefully will show up and cheer real loud.
Oh, I'm sure they will. When was the last time they had a playoff game to go to? And that's
when they had Griffin and Seattle stomped them. But yes, I agree.
Oh, they did make it to the playoffs that year, right? Yeah, but I mean, Washington's fans are crazy.
Yeah, they sure are.
They'll show up.
They honor tradition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Cousins.
That's the way it's always been.
I like Pierre Garçon. I like Deshaun Jackson. I like Jordan Reed. I've got Jordan Reed heavily invested in Jordan Reed this weekend.
Yes.
Some nice shares of Deshaun Jackson because I do think he can break one. Even though the Packers have decent safeties. But Deshaun Jackson can beat anybody, especially like you said when he's playing for something. Mm-hmm. I like at a minimum salary or lesser salary. I don't know if it's minimum, but Pierre Thomas is $3,400.
Oh, you do? Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else. I've been waiting to fight with you this whole time.
About Alfred Morris?
No. No, Pierre Thomas is fine. Pierre Thomas is a good.
Yeah, especially in DraftKings as a PPR. So if he can catch like 4 or 5 balls and then
third down back out of the backfield on swing passes, that's what they would use him for.
Matt Jones is questionable.
Pretty much out from everything I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I wanted to see if they gave it official designation, but hey, if you want to use Alfred Morris, think about it. He'll get the goal line work. So yeah, I have Pierre Thomas in some lineups, and I have Jordan Reed. I have Deshaun Jackson. Am I missing anybody? Oh yeah, Cousins. Oh no, I said that. I said Cousins.
Yeah.
What are we fighting about? Oh, do you want to? Are you starting any Packers? You said no.
I'm not starting any Packers, and just in case. By the way, last week we said play Jamison Crowder, and he went off.
Yeah.
over 100 yards and a touchdown. I did not play him despite saying I should play him. I had a busy Saturday night, woke up late Sunday, did not get enough lineups going. Don't play him this week.
You're not playing Crowder.
Do not play Crowder.
Okay.
This is the one random stat I was able to dig up is that the slot coverage back for the Packers. What is he? Hayward, I think.
Casey Hayward.
Yeah, Casey Hayward. He is actually the 21st best in the league. Least fantasy points given up from a cornerback. And he is the Packers' highest graded corner in that regard. Okay. So as much as we want to play Jamison Crowder, don't play him this week.
Yeah, okay.
One matchup to avoid.
Sure.
Sad to say, because I wanted to plug him in. I wanted to be like, oh, Jamison Crowder.
Bummer. Well, I don't know. I'll get with you on that. I do think James Jones, if they go down, is worth a look. He's 4,100 on DraftKings. He did well last week against the Vikings, even though they only scored 13 points. He was able to go 4 for 102.
Apologies. Yeah, he's gotten like 17 targets a game for the last 5 weeks, I feel.
So I like James Jones.
Was that other game 3 weeks ago when it was like they didn't throw to Randall Cobb once?
And then the Washington, you can run on them better than you can. No, although they don't have the best secondary, but they have given up points to opposing running backs. So if I think Lacy, you could take a look as a player. Not a ton of people are going to be on.
Yeah, 4,500 on DraftKings.
15 or fewer carries. Let's see, 13 last week, 13 against Minnesota, 12 against Arizona, 11 against Oakland. But maybe they're resting him for the playoffs so they can give him a full load like they did against Dallas when he went for 24 for 124 and a touchdown, including a reception for 24 yards. So I like taking a look at Lacy. He's $6,000 on FanDuel, and he will cost
4,500 on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's worth a look.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I mean a lot of things I've read have had a little like we're high on him. They'll like list him in the notes, like next and maybe.
That's kind of how I feel, and maybe if you're building that lineup where you're thinking maybe not a lot of people will be on him, or you went Lynch and then wanted to go a little bit cheaper than Lacy. I don't know. Sure, he'll fit. You can make him fit. It's not that hard. Take a look.
So do you want to share our FanDuel lineups?
Or because we're just going head to head.
Yeah, because I know that you don't want to share your DraftKings.
I'm not going to share that.
Scared of being poached.
I am. They're going to poach me. They're going to puck all but the one. They're going to swap all but one. No, not really. And
that one's going to be Antonio.
How many people?
They're going to swap Antonio Brown.
How many people that actually enter that contest listen to us?
Like five.
Nice.
Or 6. Yeah, great. Like all 8 of our listeners.
Wonderful.
Come from there.
Oh, that's great.
From there and my mother.
FanDuel lineup. What one? I have 2.
If you are watching this and listening, tweet us and tell us what Ivan's what medication Ivan should be taking right now. Or just tweet us and say Ivan blows his nose. That's all. I don't know. I was trying to come up with something witty, but so FanDuel, did you do it already?
Yeah, I've got. Did I challenge you? No, I didn't.
No, I'm just saying. Like, do you have your lineup?
I have a lineup. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Rock, paper, Kirk Cousins.
I went with Roethlisberger.
Oh, well, Cousins. Wait a minute. There's some sort of Arkansas joke there, I think, but I can't quite figure it out. Between what Roethlisberger does to Cousins. Ooh, Fitzgerald. I just Fitzgerald Toussaint did that one.
Yeah, you did. So who's your quarterback? Cousins?
Cousins, yeah.
I went Roethlisberger. I
thought we both had Cousins.
Not in this particular lineup. No, I'm not
going to change mine to Roethlisberger then.
So we both have Roethlis?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. You're joking and making jokes. Funny.
Yeah. That was part of the idea too. I was like, hey, we'll do a podcast and I'll make jokes.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. He's thinking about it. He's considering it. I might be able to make jokes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
If I get them.
It's going to be a long time before I'm allowed to make jokes.
Yeah. I don't get a lot of jokes.
So I got Fitzgerald Toussaint and Jeremy Hill.
I went Pierre Thomas and Marshawn Lynch.
Mm.
And then my 3 receivers are Tyler Lockett, Antonio Brown, Jeremy Maclin.
Oh, so I got Maclin, but then I have Deshaun Jackson and Marcus Wheaton. I'm not going to go with Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
I'm going with Marcus Wheaton. I'm going with Marcus Wheaton. Okay. Jordan Reed. I went Eifert. Oh, you did.
I did go Eifert. And then we got Cairo Santos indoors in Houston and that Kansas City Chiefs defense.
I got Houston kicker indoors at Houston. Mm-hmm. And I have the Kansas City Chiefs defense.
So we got a lot of crosses, but it'll be fun.
I think we only got 2.
Not really. Oh,
we only got the defense. Oh, well, and I guess Jordan Reed, but that was to be expected.
No, so I have
3.
Eifert.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked that you have Eifert not reading that.
Oh, and I changed it to now I have Deshaun Jackson and Tyler Lockett instead of who did I have? Maclin.
Oh, well, so Jackson is our cross then.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. You said his name and I was like, yeah, I want to root for him to catch a deep ball in our game. I have $300 left over. Do you have any money left over?
$300?
Yeah.
Oh, and you're like, I did not come out that far on top this season. Oh. I got $3 left over. Thanks to you giving me 80 cents last week.
Yeah.
No, I do have 2,400 remaining salary. Yes.
Oh, wow. You have a lot of money left.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Sure. Well, great.
In this lineup.
I'm entered in our Fool Duel tourney.
Yes, I am as well.
Tourney.
I am as well. So that will be revealed on game day.
Yeah.
Bit by game day bit. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at GoJPG, at Watch the Breaks, and at Fool Duel. And get in on the trash talk during our game on Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Tweet me updates while I'm at the play so that when intermission comes, I can be like, ooh, I know what's going on.
Perfect.
We'll do that.
Great. So, thanks for listening.
I'm probably going to sneeze again. So let's cut.
Okay, cutting right now. Bye, folks.